First thing that I want to get to today, again, this is Andrew Duncan, the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty. Today, I want to talk about a stat that I saw this week that was pretty mind-blowing. And it's no secret that the last few years, the real estate market hasn't performed as well as it did at peak. You know, we're probably 40 to 50% off of peak transaction numbers, depending on which part of Tampa Bay you're talking about. We cover a really broad geographic area when we talk about stuff on the show, and my team does as well. First and foremost, we've seen a drop in transactions, but the thing that surprised me most about looking at some statistics recently was that 75% of real estate agents didn't sell a house last year. In other words, they had no income, they sold no homes, they didn't help any clients. And it's remarkable to me because time and time again, right now, we are getting calls from frustrated home buyers and home sellers working with real estate agents that are failing them, that are not able to get their home sold. Their home comes off the market, or they're working with them as a buyer and stuff falls apart. And it's amazing because you don't realize this as a consumer. There's no real easy way. There are some ways. I mean, you can look agents up on some different profiles and different places to determine how active they are. And obviously with teams like mine, we put all the production under the team. So sometimes that's kind of challenging, but obviously because the amount of money I spend, no agents on my team are selling the homes. We don't keep them if they're not productive. We want the best of the best for our clients. Nonetheless, there are so many consumers out there working with agents that don't even know how to navigate this challenging market. The market shifted, and I've been through it a few times. I mean, my business grew 50+% during the Great Recession. So I know what it's like to work through a shifting market. And a lot of real estate agents got into the business in the heyday, in the COVID days, when money was printing and people were buying and, you know, the market was crazy and realistically anybody with a pulse could probably sell a house. Well, now, as the market has gotten more challenging, those agents at the timing that they got in, a lot of them didn't adapt. They didn't get new skills. They didn't get training. They kept playing the same playbook that worked during the easy market. And that's why so many of them haven't sold a house. 75% of them. So chances are, if you're a consumer out there, you may very well have been dealing with an agent that hadn't sold a house. And I want to explain like the obstacle with that. I mean, this is probably the most expensive thing that you're going to buy or sell. And if there's no system, team, brand, sales experience behind the agent, I mean, what are you really paying for? And so it's no different if you had a lawsuit, or if you're dealing with a lawsuit and you need to hire an attorney, or if you needed to go to a surgeon and have brain surgery, or, you know, you needed to go in and have your taxes done. Would you go to somebody that's the whole year didn't help a single client? I mean, it's amazing to me, but time and again right now, we're dealing with it. We're getting the calls, we're getting the text messages, we're getting the emails from customers that are frustrated. And a lot of times by the time they've gotten to us, they're too spent. They're bled through money, bad decisions. They kept trusting their agent. And a lot of consumers, unfortunately, know someone that's a real estate agent. Look, it's no secret to figure out that, you know, everybody and their brother in Florida has a real estate license. Just because they have a license doesn't mean they know what the hell they're doing. Just because they have a license doesn't mean they're going to be able to help you. You know, that's like the bare minimum. I mean, there's plenty of people that have driver's licenses and crash every day. My point being that if you're a consumer and you went with the agent that was the friend, the neighbor, the wife, the state, you know, whatever it is, the wife of the friend, of the neighbor, of the uncle, of the whatever it is, if you went with a real estate agent, you really didn't do your due diligence, right? Let's just say that, you know, met with somebody, you went with them and it's failed. It's very likely that agent that failed you has failed other consumers and they haven't sold any real estate. There's no easy way to figure that out. 75% of agents didn't do a deal last year. That is a remarkable statistic to me. We specialize in helping customers sell their homes who failed to sell with other agents. You see it on our advertising. You hear me talk about it in our programs and on TV. And the reason that we do that is because we know the barrier of entry to get a real estate agent license is relatively minimal. It is not that hard to get a real estate license. If you've met enough realtors, you know it's not that hard to get a license. The point being, there are a lot of consumers that get caught up in working with the friend or the cousin or the neighbor or the ex-coworker, and they don't really do their due diligence to determine, number one, is this person the right person to help me buy or sell? So they get an unprofessional experience, or maybe an inexperienced agent, or maybe an agent that didn't even do a whole transaction for the whole year. So you know what they have? They have commission breath. They're desperate. They're trying to force you to make a decision. They're pressing you all the time because they don't do any business and they need money. They haven't sold anything. So we specialize in helping customers in those situations. So if your home failed to sell, and is off the market, please reach out to us. DuncanDuo.com, 813-359-8990. Selling a home that's been on the market before requires a different strategy. There are a lot of agents that just go right back to the same playbook that the other agent was using. There's some unique things that we do when a home hasn't sold with another agent to help get it exposure again. Sometimes it takes the home coming off the market and some things getting done to the house, different photos, different marketing strategies, certainly different pricing strategy, but there are a lot of homes out there not selling, a lot more homes not selling than were not selling a few years ago. And I think, again, it goes back to a lot of inexperienced agents. And I'll tell you that one of the pain points in real estate happened in COVID. It happened in COVID when everybody got to go home. Everybody got sent home. Everyone's working from home. A lot of cloud-based real estate brokerages blew up, including the one that I'm with now, LPT Realty, and they're attempting to solve this problem through a variety of means. But what ended up happening is a lot of real estate agents that got into the business during the boom got sent home, and it was really easy to make money, even if they were working from home, because everyone was buying and everyone was buyer and rates were low and anyone could qualify. Well, now that there's fewer transactions, a lot harder to qualify, not as much going on, a lot of those same agents in the blueprint of the same pattern. You're working from home. And you know what that means? They're probably not really working. And they're not getting coaching, consulting, and training, or they're doing it via Zoom. Let's be honest. I think everybody's about zoomed out. I did go to enough Zoom trainings, and the attention span of people today is very minimal. So real estate agents have been working from home. They got lazy. They kept following the same pattern of COVID, and it got us used to working from home, and they got complacent, and then they stopped coming to the office. They stopped getting training. They stopped getting coaching. They thought that they could Zoom it in. They thought that they could work from home and still, make it rain. And the reality is it just hasn't happened. So you've got a lot of inexperienced, uneducated real estate agents that have gotten into the business. And, it was sunshine and rainbows during the time that they got in. So they looked like a superstar. But in reality, when they had to go to work and start getting gritty, they're failing. And that's why 75% of real estate agents don't have a deal. A lot of them are still following that same blueprint. So if you want an agent that's not that, we fought against that. We kept people coming in. We kept doing office meetings. We've continued, and we've got people back in the office, and we're doing a lot of coaching and training, and we're attracting a lot of great agents, and we're still doing a lot of advertising. March was our best month in a couple of years. The point is that if your home failed to sell, or if you've had a bad real estate experience, again, certainly, the real estate agent could very well be the problem, but you also have to look at the due diligence that you did. What kind of due diligence did you do to pick that real estate agent? And would you have been a little bit more diligent with your efforts to find a real estate agent, and maybe find the best, find a pro, find somebody with a strong brand and marketing and advertising experience, had it been a different thing you were looking for? Would you have just gone to the first person to introduce themselves if they were, and you were looking for a lawyer? There's just a lot of real estate agents. There's a lot of people out there beating down your door saying, I want business, I want business, I want business. But that doesn't mean that they're the right experienced person to help you with the sale or the purchase of the most expensive thing that you're likely going to buy. So customers out there listening, home buyers, home sellers, do your due diligence on the real estate agent. Don't just pick somebody that you like. Don't just pick somebody that your friend or that you hang out with, or a drinking buddy or a buddy's spouse. Man, I'm telling you, I've seen people lose tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars by picking the wrong agent or the wrong strategy. Homes not selling, homes ending up in foreclosure, homes being overpriced, homes getting damaged. I mean, you name it. I have seen it in my 20-year career. And a lot of customers have frustrations about the real estate business and about real estate agents in general, are unwilling to look in the mirror, because the reason that they had a frustrating real estate experience is because they didn't do any due diligence to find the real estate agent to help them. So if you want a great experience, if you want an experienced agent and team behind you, we would love the opportunity to apply for the job of selling your home. Even if your home failed to sell, it doesn't mean that your home is the scarlet letter. It may very well mean that you just had an inexperienced agent, one of those 75% of agents that hasn't sold a home in the last year. I really can't even believe the statistic. A lot of them have second jobs and part-time jobs and are doing Uber and doing other things, but nonetheless, there are a lot of consumers picking those agents and then being frustrated with real estate merely because they really didn't pick a pro. They picked an amateur. They picked somebody that they knew, not somebody that had a great track record. So pick the best, pick somebody with a great track record. Look, we've got a great track record. You can look at the reviews. You can Google my company. You can see the $3 billion in sales. We're obviously not the only great track record around. The reality is so many consumers get caught up in picking the wrong real estate agent. then have a bad experience and then think it's a problem with real estate agents or the market. And a lot of times it's the problem is that you didn't do your research to find a professional. You just went to the first person and you believed we're all a commodity and we're all the same, and it's not even close. We're not even close to the same as the agents, the 75% of agents that haven't sold a home in a year. So